The Warriors have missed out on Giannis. The Warriors most likely will miss out on LeBron James. Is the Warriors front office sabotaging the Golden State Warriors' chances? Let's dive in. Basically, the Warriors are stuck in between two plans. The Warriors don't look fully committed into winning right now, in my opinion, because we would have traded for Anthony Davis, whether it was right or wrong, to lure LeBron James in. And that's good and bad. But the other thing is, it doesn't look like the Warriors are fully committed to rebuilding yet. In the NBA, being stuck in the middle or in two plans is the worst place to be. Because if you're trying to win, you need to make every possible move that you can make to put the best team in front of Steph and Draymond right now on the tail end of their legendary careers. But you're not doing that. It's about right now. It's not about 2 years from now or 3 years from now or not when guys are finally developing. It's right now. Steph is still good enough to scare any team in a playoff series. You hear the stars in the NBA talk about it still because they will not degrade Steph Curry because when you do that, Steph makes you pay. But the reality is you cannot expect Steph Curry to carry a roster anymore. That's not a plan. That is confusion. And you just got to know where you're really at right now. The Warriors are overvaluing their own guys. And as a Warriors fan, this has been one of my biggest pet peeves with the Warriors. This is one of those instances where Mike Dunleavy Jr. has to be questioned on this. And I know it's not all his fault because a lot of fans be giving him the brunt of their frustration when he inherited not the success, but what to do with the players after the success that honestly former GM Bob Myers just ran out on. But every team loves their young guys. Every team thinks their prospects are special. Every team thinks their draft picks are gold. Even though I think Yaxel might be gold. But when you have Steph Curry, the timeline is different. And there's a lot of players just sitting there and it's like, what are you doing with these guys? You got Brandon Podemski. He is extension eligible. But do you really want to keep stringing him along? Is he a big enough piece to be like, yeah, I see him in our future? I like Brandon, but I think that's some guy that you might let get away in a trade package. And Moses Moody, pre-injury. I thought the last playoff series that he was injured there too, allegedly, which led to his poor shooting performance. He just couldn't hit nothing. And I'm a big Moody fan. But he's someone I think you got to let go and that we overvalue. I like that we let go of Quentin Post because Quentin Post, I was very high on him that we drafted him out of Boston College. But I did not like how he just turned into a three-point threat because he wasn't a threat. Yeah, he could make a few, but the real strength of him for the Warriors was him being inside, being a big man, being muscle, but he wasn't that at all. So the Grizzlies can have him. And frankly, even though he's a thing of the past, Jonathan Kuminga, that's what we did with him too. We overvalued him and we just got stuck with him and we waited 3 years too long to get rid of him. So you just cannot make every young player on the Warriors untouchable. That doesn't mean you trade everybody at once, but you got to be able to let go of some of these young stars that have been here for a few years. And the Warriors are just holding on to these guys, overvaluing them, and they're missing opportunities by making these guys untouchable. And it's wrong. My eyes are wide open. Why isn't the front offices? Potential does not help Steph Curry in game 6 on the road. Hell, potential didn't help Steph Curry in the play-in against Phoenix to even sniff the playoffs, which we missed. Potential does not stop elite scorers in the playoffs. Potential does not give a reliable second option to Steph Curry. At some point, the front office has to decide, are we building around Steph or are we preparing for life after Steph? And to me, if you lose out on LeBron James, which the pit of my stomach tells me that we are, you got to prepare for life after Steph. Make some trades, get off some of this money, and just ride it out. Steph Curry deserves urgency right now. And frankly, Steph Curry in this whole swirl of LeBron James and AD free agency, he's been quiet. And on one hand, I think he's focusing on his family in the offseason. But second, I think he's laying back and waiting to see what the front office does. Are you going to make something enticing for me to finish my career here? You cannot just wait and see. This man changed the entire franchise. I lived it before Steph Curry. It was horrible. watching players like Jason Caffey, Bimbo Coles, Tony Delk, like guys that did not live up to anything. Sorry, but he brought championships to the Bay, which I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. And he made the Warriors one of the biggest brands in basketball. So when he's playing at a high level like he is right now, barring his runner's knee, you owe him urgency, not panic, not desperation, but urgency. That's the difference. Panic is making a dumb trade that doesn't make a difference. Urgency is making decisions knowing that your championship window is pretty much closed. And that's the part that frustrates me, because it seems like the front office of the Warriors is just always acting like time is on their side. And father time is rapidly approaching for Steph Curry and even Draymond Green. So it's time to bust a move, Warriors. And something I think the Warriors are doing by sabotaging the Warriors' chances is you got to stop living off the dynasty. The Warriors front office has gotten the benefit of the doubt based off what they've already done. 4 championships. But that regime is gone except for Steph Curry and Draymond. But you can't live off old banners. It's about keep putting them up there. At a certain point, the current decisions have to be judged on their own. Are the roster moves making the team better? Are the draft picks fitting the timeline? Which I'll mention again, I was very excited that they got Yaxel Lendenborg. Are the contracts making sense? Do you actually extend Brandon Podemski? Do you actually extend Draymond? If it makes sense. Are you surrounding Steph with enough size, defense, and scoring? Because other teams are getting better. They're getting younger. The West is not waiting for Golden State to figure it out. You got the younger teams rising right now. You got teams with more size. You got teams with more athleticism. And you got teams with more creators. And the Warriors cannot run it back with this same team that we are apparently looking at right now. Just a sidebar, I thought re-signing DeAnthony Melton was the biggest mistake of the offseason so far. Is it sabotage or bad team building? I'm a Warriors fan, so I don't think that they're sabotaging their own cause. I don't think Mike Dunleavy Jr. is sitting there going, how could we ruin this team? But sabotage doesn't have to be intentional. Sometimes sabotage is indecision, where it looks like the Warriors have been for the past 2 years. Sometimes it looks like being too cautious. Sometimes it's not admitting that your roster is not good enough, which is the crossroad that we're at right now. It's protecting future assets when your franchise player is running out of time right now. So when fans say, are you sabotaging Steph or the Warriors? The real question is, why doesn't the front office look as desperate as Steph looks on the court to win? But my opinion is, I think that they're unknowingly sabotaging their own cause. You got to give some of the picks up if there is a actual decent trade that could help you this year. You were going to give up 4 picks for Giannis, and apparently the Wizards want a whole bunch of picks that you actually have for AD. That's shaky, but you want to know that you're giving Steph a good run on his way out. And I think you don't want to be questioning, what if, could we have done better to finish off Steph's career? That will be a blunder in my eyes. But tell me what you think. Are the Warriors sabotaging their own cause? Make sure you drop a comment with your opinion, and make sure to subscribe to The Authentic Take. Until next time.
The authentic take, the real, no fake. The authentic take, yeah, the real, no fake.